Hey everybody, I want to take a look at this first race at Mahoning Valley today, race number 1. Uh, I'm not going to put out selections on this card. There's not a whole lot of Astro influence today on many of these races, so I'm just going to kind of let that go. But I want to take a look at this first race because there's a few interesting points in here to be made from a conventional handicapping perspective. What we have is a state bred allowance race for 3-year-old and up fillies and mares, non-winners other than maiden claiming or starter. So I usually like to look at the older horses and compare them to the younger horses. And in these kind of races, you always want to favor the more lightly raced horses that have some potential compared to the older horses who've been, kind of staggering through these races and not being able to get to the winner's circle. What we're looking at here is the Briss Ultimate PP sheet, and I've switched over to the summary. It kind of gives you the speed and pace numbers, gives you averages and best. I usually like to look at that and see how these horses have done and if they're capable of running to par. The par numbers for this race are shown on the upper right corner here where my cursor is. You see the E1, E2 early pace figures. The pars are 90, 89. The late pace par is 76 and the speed par is 74. So as you see, we scroll down to the runners. You can see that the number 2, Queen Air, 7-2 on the morning line, is really the only runner in here who's capable of running to this par level on average. The next listed horse, the 8, Lexiana, looks like she has an early pace advantage. So we're going to take a look at that and see, this looks like from this first glance, this looks like a horse that could possibly jump out to the lead and run away. But you will notice the late pace figures a little bit on the weak side. So what I want to do is just go through here and take a look and see who can be eliminated right off the bat and who we might want to look at. So we'll scroll back through. Number 9, Sarah Jane. This horse has not done much. It did win a maiden special race here back on 22 December where it got its win on a sloppy track. That was its 7th race. Prior to that, it had showed, absolutely nothing at a lower level. It's been out at this level twice in its last 2. It finished 2nd after the win and then finished 4th last time out. Not a whole lot inspiring there. This horse did win running close, pressing the pace at the first call, being 1 length back at the second call. But look at the first and second call early pace numbers. They're really weak, and running a number like this at the second call is going to put this horse quite a bit behind the leaders in this race, so we can probably toss her from the win. Now, Lexiana was the 2nd ranked horse in the summary, and you'll see here, if you look back at this horse's record, she debuted January 14th last year, finished 2nd by a neck. Good early speed, had the lead, got out by 2-3 lengths to the stretch, and then faded to finish 2nd by a neck. And then as you see the next couple races, she could not get back. She won in the 3rd out, won with a really slow final speed figure, good early pace, but a terrible late pace number, which led to that low final figure. That type of a win is not the type of thing that you're going to, see coming back to win a $29,000 allowance race. She then had a layoff, came back at Thistledown for 4 races, all at similar levels here. You can see she always shows good speed and fades. Another layoff coming to Mahoning then January 6th. Early speed, fade. Next one, early speed, fade. Last time out, even though she is gradually improving and ran a decent number last out, she was first by 5 at the stretch and finished second by 3. So there was an eight length turnaround from the stretch to the finish. This is not the kind of horse that I'm interested in backing at all, especially when they make this horse 3-1 on the morning line. I think she is listed as a favorite. If I look at them, yeah, she's a favorite. Number 2, Queen Air, is the second choice, and number 3, Fricka, the third choice. So what we've looked at so far, those are 4-year-old fillies and some 5-year-old mares in there. Now we've got a couple of 3-year-olds at the beginning of the field here. Now we've got 2 more older mares that we want to look at. The one coupled entry, neither one of these has really shown much that's inspiring. Even though they do have 3 wins to their credit, these wins are in the distant past or at not very impressive numbers. This $6,500 claimer, non-winner 3 lifetime, that's not really going to carry forth to likely win this race. The most likely winner from the way this looks is number 2, Queen Air. Queen Air won her debut back here in December at a straight maiden level, ran a much better than par number, won by 3 lengths as a presser after kind of a bad start. She caught up and ran away from this group. In the second race, she was taken up at the break for whatever reason. I didn't see the replay, so I don't know what that was. That took her out of that race right off the bat, and she virtually had no chance, so you can excuse that race. In her last race, she finished second. She basically was second the whole race, trailed the field. So this horse looks more like a presser, but the early pace and the late pace are decent. They're fairly strong. This horse is consistent and is capable of winning this race today. And she is a 3-year-old, and this is a 3-year-old that looks like she might be able to improve again here today. The next one, number 3, Fricka, also a 3-year-old. You can see it took her till the 6th race to break the maiden, all straight maiden, 28,000 special weight levels. She then came back to running non-winners of 2 lifetime allowances and ran evenly. A lot of times when these horses break their maiden, they need to go against winners a couple of times before they, usually win again, unless they're super talented. These are just average runners, so there's no super talent in this race, but this horse is capable of, this filly is capable of moving forward again a little bit. This 5 horse basically has no chance to do anything in this race. And then the 7 as well. I'm just straight out tossing them just based on their early speed, which is virtually non-existent, and their final figures are just terrible. But I do want to take a look at the 4 and 6. We have an uncoupled entry for Penny Roan. So outside of the 2 and 3, which are probably both really likely to hit the board, trying to find a little bit of value in here. And to me, it looks like the 4 and 6 have a shot to do that. Taking a look at the 4, I always take a hard look at uncoupled entries because a lot of time a trainer will stick 2 in a race with the intent of winning with 1. Now, to try to sort out which one could be the most likely winner, we're going to take a look and see if we can come up with something here. What's intriguing about these 2, what I'm going to do is shrink the screen a little bit so we can get a look at both of these if I don't make it too small. But number 4, bad debut, finished 4th by 18, came back off the layoff. And that was as a 2-year-old. These first 3 races are all as a 2-year-old. So she broke her maiden as a 2-year-old, ran a 68 final with the win. and then was moved into a stake race next time out, where she was up in the mix early and then faded with the huge class jump. They then laid her off, brought her back to a stake at Mahoning Valley in November. Still a 2-year-old stake. She didn't show much of anything. Came back in January, ran at this allowance level, and kind of just chased the field around, didn't really show much. That was back in January. Since then, looking at the workout pattern, she worked on the 22nd 5 furlongs, 5 furlongs again on the 12th, which was a bullet, 1 of 4. 5 furlongs again on February 23rd, 2nd of 4. Then 5th of March, 4 furlongs, decent workout, 49 3/4 of 7. 3-year-old who's basically been running outside of her class in those stakes races after the maiden win. But if this horse is not hurt, she has a chance to improve today and get into the mix. But I really prefer the 6 horse a little bit more. So I want to look at the pattern on her. She debuted here in February of 20. First 2 races, kind of nondescript. She did finish second in the second start in the 30K maiden. Then was laid off for 3 months, came back at Thistledown in June, on June 17th. Same level. She won easily by almost 10 lengths and ran a really nice number that would win this race today. For God knows what reason, they sent her to Cincinnati to Belterra, stretched her out and put her in this into this mile and 16th turf route to Cincinnati, and where she basically led to the stretch and then faded. So what they do next, they dropped her back into the allowance level, brought her back to Thistledown for 2 races in late July and August. The first one was respectable. She finished 3rd. And then she had some trouble. She bore out and was bumped and then stopped before the top of the stretch. So she was in the mix at the first 2 calls in both of those races. And then they laid her off to bring her back to her 4-year-old season in January, where she stayed at this level. She came back off the layoff, stumbled and bumped at the start, never had a chance to get in the race. So you can basically, draw a line through that one. That's just a bad break at the gate. Came back February 9th, same level, 29,000 non-winners, 2 lifetime, ran respectable, didn't show much speed, just kind of, ran behind the pack and kind of ran evenly throughout the race to finish 4th. This is the kind of thing that could be a form darkening maneuver. Like that the horse had to work out on the 5th before this race, ran on the 9th, had a little break, came back, had a bullet workout on the 26th of February, 102 3 at 5 furlongs here. And then a nice workout March 5th, 4 furlongs, 49 and change. And now I don't know if this horse is going to have enough early speed to contend and hold, but from a value perspective, I kind of like the look of this. The trainer is also in a good spot, 3rd off the layoff, a 25% winner, 45% in the money. So looking at both sides of this uncoupled entry, I kind of like looking at the 4 and 6 to be played with the 2 and 3. I'm a little bit more partial to the 6 horse. Eric Barbaran and Machado both ride for Penny Roan. Barbaran chose to ride the 4, but I'm a little more inclined to like the ability of the 6 because I think it has a better pattern and a little bit more early speed from prior efforts. So that's kind of one way how I look at these type of races. So for value in this race, the 4 and the 6, hook them up in your exactas to the 2 and the 3. The other horse that had speed looks like a perpetual fader. The 8-horse Lexiana, I'm not going to use her. She very well could be up there in the mix, but I'm not going to take something like that at a low price to finish second or third. So that's kind of how I take a look at some of these races. So when, you can look at it like this, when you see me posting some selections, these are the type of things I'm, excuse me, I'm looking at. And with not much Astro going today, I didn't want to put a bunch of selections out there, but this is something that we can look at for the first race. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon with another video.